Loading, 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 loading.
Hello, good day. Today we are going to discuss about the Rococo art, its history, movement and style, and also the different artists that involved in this Rococo period and their respective artworks. So let me start. What is Rococo art? So let's start in its history. The Rococo movement was an artistic period that emerged in France and spread artistic artworks throughout the world in the late 17th and early 18th century. The word Rococo is a derivative of the French term rocaille, which means rock and shell garden ornamentation. So the word Rococo is derived from the French term rocaille, that means rock and shell garden ornamentation. When we say ornamentation, it is all about decorations. So rocaille refers to the shell work in garden grottos and is used as a descriptive word for the serpentine patterns seen in the decorative arts of the Rococo period. So this ornamentation is used or is designed or it is decorated by the garden grottos that is seen in decorative arts in this certain period, which is the Rococo period. So next slide. It is an 18th century artistic movement and style affecting many aspects of the arts, including painting, sculpture, architecture, interior design, decoration, literature, music, and theater. So there are different aspects of arts in this period, and that was painting, sculpture, architecture, interior design, decoration, literature, music, and theater. So in each aspect, there are different artists that make different artworks that is very fanciful and elegant to see. So it is developed in the early 18th century in Paris, France, as a reaction against the grandeur, symmetry, and strict regulations of the Baroque, especially of the Palace of Versailles. So the place of origin of this Rococo art is in Paris, France. So Rococo artists and architects use a more jocular, florid, and graceful approach to the Baroque. Their style was ornate and used light colors, asymmetrical designs, curves, and golds. So the artists and architects uses jocular. When we say jocular, it is more about humorous. Florid, when we say florid, it is more on flowers, and graceful. It is graceful approach, which is nice to see. And their style was ornate by they are using light colors, designs that is asymmetrical, curves, and gold. Next. So the interior decoration of Rococo rooms was designed as a total work of art with elegant and ornate furniture, small sculptures, ornamental mirrors, and tapestry complementing architecture, reliefs, and wall paintings. So in Rococo rooms, they use elegant and ornate furnitures and also sculptures and wall paintings in decorating the rooms. And the significance of the Rococo period is, along with Impressionism, Rococo is considered one of the most influential French art movements. It is celebrated for both its light and airy paintings and its fanciful decorative arts, which together showcase the elegant yet ebullient taste of 18th century France. So why is it that the Rococo period is the most influential French art movement? Since it is the different artworks that the artist made in this period is very elegant, and the taste of the 18th century France was being portrayed by the artists when they, are making their artworks. So next. The Rococo style is characterized by lightness, elegance, and exuberant use of coordinate natural forms in ornamentation. So, in making artworks or in Rococo style, they give importance by the lightness, the elegance, and the exuberant use of curving natural forms in order for them to make a very good kind of artwork. So its feature. Rococo style is characterized by elaborate ornamentation, asymmetrical volutes, pastel color palette, and curved of serpentine lines. Rococo artworks often depicts themes of love, classical myths, youth, and playfulness. So aside from their consideration or they give importance of the different things that they are using in making artworks, their art also or their artworks depicts different themes like love, classical myths, youth, and playfulness. So as we can see, it is a pair of chairs, and it is named as Pair of Louis XV chairs, sold at Kohler Auction in Zurich on Thursday, March 21, 2013. So in this artwork, the chairs is very elegant to see. This is one of the artwork that is made by one of the artists in the Racoco period. So next, after the death of Louis XIV, the French court moved from Versailles back to their old Parisian mansions, redecorating their homes using softer designs and more modest materials than the king's grand Baroque style. So as time passed, after the death of Louis XIV, the French court moved from Versailles back to their mansions, and they decorate their houses using the softer designs compared from the Baroque style, which is modest materials. And next is, instead of surrounding themselves with precious metals and rich colors, the French aristocracy now lived in intimate interiors made with stucco adornments, boiserie, and mirrored glass. So before, the people there is using precious metals or rich colors, but their perspective changed when the Rococo period comes, and they use softer designs and modest materials and as their decorations or as their designs in their houses. So this new style is characterized by its asymmetry, graceful curves, elegance, and the delightful new paintings of daily life and courtly love with decorated the walls within these spaces. So as time passed, their perspective or their style changed, and in this period, the Rococo period, they give importance to its asymmetry, the gracefulness of the artwork, the elegance, and the delightfulness of the paintings. That is not only painting itself, but the paintings will depict daily life situations and courtly love and decorate, and this different artworks is decorated in their walls or in the spaces or in other spaces in their houses. So next, so this is one of the artwork made by Jean-Antoine Watteau. It is named as La Sorpresa, and it is all about a couple embracing with a figure dressed as mezzotint tunes, a guitar sold at Christie's London on Tuesday, July 8, 2008. So next. The father of Rococo painting was Jean-Antoine Watteau, French, from 1684 to 1721, who invented a new genre called Frites Galantes, which were scenes of courtship parties. So, the father of Rococo painting was Jean-Antoine Watteau, and he made new inventions from a new, or as we can say, he made a new genre called Frites Galantes, and this Frites Galantes is all about scenes of courtship parties. Born close to the Flemish border, Watteau was influenced by genre scenes of everyday life that were quite popular in Flanders and the Netherlands. So as time passed, the styles changed, or the style in Rococo period was being influenced by another genres made by another artist in this period, and this genre that influenced Jean-Antoine Watteau's perspective is the genre scenes of everyday life that was quite popular that time in Flanders and Netherlands. Known for his depictions of elegantly dressed figures gathered in outdoor spaces, exchanging pleasantries and enjoying music. So, Jean-Antoine Watteau is known for his artworks that depicts elegantly dressed figures that is gathered in outdoor spaces that enjoys music or even enjoying dancing. Though educated thought was cultivated throughout the 18th century, a new kind of intellectual exchange began to develop, and this is what we called as the Enlightenment. So out of this new cultural movement, ideas about art changed, and Rococo ideas of frivolity and elegantly eroticism became less and less relevant. So the Rococo ideas about the frivolity and elegant erotism become less relevant because the new era or the new period, Enlightenment, is being developed. And so art critics like Diderot sought for a nobler art, and enlightened philosophers like Voltaire criticized its triviality, while some Rococo artists continued to paint in their own provocative style. Others developed a new kind of art known as neoclassicism, which appealed to the art critics of the time. So as time passed, there is a change that happened. So the art critic Diderot sought a nobler art, and that enlightened philosophers like Voltaire that criticized its triviality. So the Rococo artists, some of the Rococo artists continue to paint, but they are using now their own provocative style. And other perspective is now developed, and it is known as the neoclassicism. So next. So it is one of the artwork of the Rococo period, and it is the La Cuisette Fexie, the fascinated coquette, sold at Christie's, New York on Thursday, April 6, 2006. And the artist of this artwork is Jean-Honor Fragonard. So Jean-Honor Fragonard, French 1732 to 1806, was one such painter who attempted to adapt this style to the artistic changes of the period. So unlike Watteau, Fragonard's skill wasn't recognized until well after his death. Today, Fragonard is best known for his Rococo-style paintings like La Coquette Fexie, the Fascinated Coquette, which depicts an amorous encounter between a female and two males. So, at the time of Jean-Honor Fragonard, his different artworks is not being recognized by many. But right after his death, that was the time that his artworks is being recognized by the known people, and they give importance on it, especially the Fascinated Coquette, that depicts a female and two females, or the encounter of the female and two males. So the lustful male gazes establish the female figure as the focal point of the painting. So as a work of light-hearted entertainment, there is no complex meaning or story behind the piece. It is a bright, cheerful scene meant for amusement and delight. So even if the artwork of Jean Honor Provenor, which is called The Fascinated Coquet, and it is the amorous encounter of female and two males, even if this lustful, they never criticized the Jean Honor's Provenor's work, and they see it as bright, cheerful scene that is for amusement and for delight. That's all.
Good day, Ms. Pamela Bangka. I am Shienna Marie Dungki Cinco, a student from Cebu Technological University, Moalboal Campus, Malabayog Extension. I am from 1A and one of your students in the subject Art Appreciation. In this video, I'm going to report about the Rococo art, and I'm going to discuss the major characteristics of the Rococo art and the major characteristics of that period. So, let's start. The Rococo art, or the Rococo painting, was originated in the early 18th century. As I have researched, the father of the Rococo painting was Jean Anthony Wathieu, who invented a new genre called fête galante, which were scenes of courtship parties. The Rococo art is characterized by its symmetry, the curvy lines, the content which depicts scenes of love, the nature, the amorous encounters, the light-hearted entertainment, and youth. The style of the Rococo art was highly theatrical, designed to impress and awe at first sight. I can say that the Rococo art is an old-fashioned, but at the same time, it is unique and fancy, not because of its characteristics, but because of the artwork itself. So, the Rococo art affects many aspects of art, including the paintings, the interior designs, the decorations, the literature, the music, the theater, and more. So, here I'm gonna show you some of the Rococo artworks. The first Rococo art is the artwork titled The Swing. As you can see in the artwork, it contains people, which the girl is being pushed on a swing by men, and there's the other man who looks underneath the girl. You can see that it has cool colors like pink, white, green. It has some curved lines too. The swing, also known as the Happy Accidents of the Swing, is an 18th century oil painting by Jean Honoré Fragonard in the Wall Ace collection in London. It is considered to be one of the masterpieces of the Rococo era and it's Fragonard's best-known work. And the next artwork of the Rococo art is the Triumph of Venus. The Triumph of Venus is a 1740 painting by Francois Boucher. As we can see in the painting, it is like a celebration of love and lust. You can see that the painting has a cool color palette. It has an energetic composition, and it has such erotic subject matter. It's kind of a unique painting. For me, it's one of the best and iconic painting I've ever seen. When it comes to artwork created in the last 500 years, in my opinion, Rococo is the easiest way to identify. Why? Because this art movement has a lot of traits that don't pop up frequently when it comes to artwork created before Rococo and art were created after this art period. The best way to describe this style is playful and light-hearted. It's not senior or stern like we see when it comes up to Baroque or neoclassical artwork. The reason the case is mainly because of the patrons, the people that were spending money during the Rococo art period was the aristocracy. They were looking for pleasant artwork and decorations to jazz up their homes. Some of them, they see that life was about pleasure for the nobility during this time period. When it comes to Rococo artwork, the first thing or the first characteristic you'll probably notice is the preference of the pastel colors. As I have mentioned earlier, the most common used or the most basic colors that are being used in the Rococo artwork are the cool or light colors. Some examples of them are white, cream, and pink. The other characteristic of the Rococo artwork is the content. As what I have also mentioned earlier, the most content or the most basic content of the Rococo artwork is the people. Rococo art is very playful. It's not serious, or you're not going to see many religious or historical paintings. Instead, you're going to see a lot of aristocracy in nature doing enjoyable things. Some themes that you'll see in Rococo art are the scenes inspired by the theater, by people, and some inspired by culture. This concludes that Rococo is very unique. It has the characteristic that makes it unique in its own way. For me, Rococo is very iconic artwork. It's just not define the artist itself, but also defines the experience and the period itself. And that's all I have about the Rococo artwork. Thank you and good day.